What is up, you guys? Welcome to another alliteration gaming video. Today we're going to be back in the classroom, back in the little dojo. Alliteration gaming sensei, Levi Sensei is here to inform you, not really inform you, it's going to just kind of be a little like open discussion, first thoughts, processing video on the provisional cards. Yes, I want to talk these very cool provisional pack promo cards for you. Cards you have to go exclusively to our big old provisional tournaments, well, online of course, but you have to enter into our big old exclusive provisional tournaments to get a shot at winning. So, how good are these cards? How are they shaping up so far with what we have and what we could have in set 2? And how are they going to define the meta or affect it in any way whatsoever? Let's kind of get right into it. First one I want to talk about is Toru Hagakari. Hagakari might be the most interesting one from a meta perspective. So she is a 6-hander with 28 health on air, chaos, and water with 2 responses. She's a big old response character. Once per turn, when an attack is played, it gets +2 or -2 speed and gains flash. So this is the big ability right here, right? This ability says this character is going to be in pretty much every sideboard on anyone who can run these symbols. This is really good into some characters. I think this is really good against Kirishima. You played your jab. I'm not really into that, you know. No free foundation, no free card, no nothing. Oh, you played chop. I'm not really into that. I'd like to block it without discarding a card, you know. Like so many out there. He doesn't get to build, you know, if that's his only, he doesn't get to pick up. If that's his only attack, he's screwed. Like he's out of luck if that's his only swing. Any staff strike deck, this is just gonna demolish. Like, oh cool, you played your staff strike, I'll make it a flash, you know. Let me block that 4 mid real quick, and then you can proceed probably with nothing because that's your line, right? There's so much potential value in changing any of your opponent's attacks into flashes. As far as what she can change into flashes, I mean, there's not really much. You don't generally want your attacks to be flashes unless they like specifically like, you know, or like statted for it, like an actual flash attack would be. But you know, I mean, on her different symbols, I'm sure there's something she can do. She can play a lot of she can play throws under some of them, like under water and water, air, or chaos actually. So making those some really fast flashes is pretty cool. But I think her real value is going to be in answering any staff strike decks and then any other decks that like, oh, my opponent's really like all in on one big attack, you know, really like one line of play type of deck. Let me just get into her and take care of that real quick. And then her second ability is pretty cool. It's a response to destroy 1 foundation. After your unblocked attack deals damage, your rival adds a ready foundation from their stage to their hand. So you pop one of yours to debuild them one, but it goes to their hand, but you know, make it a flash, it doesn't really matter, right? It's kind of a, I don't know, it's an okay ability. It's not once per turn, so like when you're going in on them, you know, and you're like, I don't really care what, you know, how much block zones you have or how much you have block wise, you know, I'm gonna go in on you and just make sure you don't have the foundations to block things. That's pretty cool. It's a neat ability, but like I said, that first response, that is where the money is, and I think this character is going to dictate what a lot of decks that you can and can't play. Anything that's like one tricking into like Detroit Smash or Reciprocal Burst, can't do that anymore. A lot of the really like one trick pony attack play styles that you play in set 1 right now, you just don't get to do against this character, and that's really powerful as a sideboard option. So Hagakari is pretty cool. I think we're gonna see her a lot in sideboards, maybe as some main decks as well. She might, you know, run around as her own deck, but you know, we'll see, right? Next guy we have is Present Mike. Present Mike is a 628 on Chaos, Fire, and Life. Some pretty powerful symbols, honestly, with some very interesting abilities. This is our mill deck. Surprise, surprise. He has Enhanced Commit. Remove the top card of your rival's deck from the game. If it was not an attack, you get to ready him. So basically, if you remove a foundation, you get to ready him and do that again, and you get to do that until you hit an attack, essentially. So he's just gonna mill you until he's gonna mill you as much as he can, basically. If you're playing 50 card deck against Present Mike and he's just playing like a stall, and he's trying to just remove your whole deck, like that's gonna be pretty tough. I don't know if there's really like the card pool right now. Like he doesn't have very defensive symbols. I guess Life he can stay alive for a while in and just try and do that. It could be a play style. I don't know how effective it will be, but it's an interesting ability, it's an interesting thought process, and we could very well see cards in the future that make this a lot more viable. And then his second enhance is to get 1 speed for every 3 cards in their removed from game pile, playable while committed. Only up to 4 speed though. So that's pretty strong. Once you hit 12, I mean, that's just free, you know. Once you hit 12, all your moves have 4 speed. That's pretty terrifying. You can do some pretty crazy stuff with that. And that could very much be like the more, the more solid way to play this character is not necessarily, play him like a mill deck, but just sit there and be like, hey, we're gonna drown the game out for a while. I'm gonna kind of stall until I get your remove from game pile ready. Get you a cycle or 2 in, and then I can kind of go either way. 4 speed to everything, or I can try and mill you out. Whatever looks more plausible. So he's a little more versatile in that sense, but he's a pretty cool, interesting character. I'm excited to kind of see what comes from him and where he goes. Next, we have Kurogiri. So we actually saw Kurogiri in a commercial like ages ago. So we've known of him for quite a long time. But it was we just snapped a commercial pic and zoom, detective, that stuff. So maybe he changes, we weren't really sure. But now we have his official reveal. He is the 7-hander here, 7-hander with 19 health on Evil, Order, and Void, with some really interesting abilities. So he has an enhance, so once per turn, check the top and bottom card of your deck, and you can add the bottom card to the top if you want. So you can stack your next check, your next draw, etc., etc. That works on both players' turns, so you get to warp gate your cards however you want to, however you need to, twice per cycle, once per each turn. So pretty cool ability. The real spice is his response to commit himself. When they play an attack, you bot deck it. And then if they have an attack in your discard pile, you get to pick one and add it to their hand. This is a really crazy ability. This is a really, really, really crazy ability. Once again, it has the Hagakari syndrome. Anything that is full-on game plan committed one-trick pony into a certain attack, you're gonna get rid of it, give them a different one, and say, hey, you better have another one, right? That's what he's gonna tell you. And then early game, if you swing into him early game with you basically can't attack him until you have an attack in your discard pile, because you're just going to play your attack. If you have no attack in your discard pile, he just gets to bot deck it for free. He just gets to send it away for free. He gets to warp it away, no cost, and you get nothing out of it. So if you don't check an attack early on, you can't really swing into him until you do, or you're just going to have to accept that you're losing one swing for free. He's pretty cool. I don't think that we really have the card pools. He wants to play a very defensive, drawn-out game. And the only symbol that really does this here effectively is Void, but I don't really think we have the cards to necessarily make him really good yet. But with some more defensive capabilities in any of these symbols, Kurogiri could be a very, very cool deck. I'd like to see him get some of his own kit to help him with his playstyle, but I think it's a very, very cool playstyle. Next, we've got Midnight. Midnight, oh man. I think Midnight is incredibly strong. Also, her hand size and health are on the right side for some reason. Not sure why that is. Anyway, Midnight is a 600 with 28 health on all, Chaos, and Void. Some very strong symbols. With her first ability is an enhance to commit herself, discard any number of cards, and draw a card for each discarded. So she basically gets a free mulligan every turn by committing herself. Very interesting. Her second effect is to commit a foundation to give +1 or -1 speeds for each of its keywords, and that's playable while committed. This is a really interesting character. This character, I've seen people do 2 things to this character so far, and it's really, really crazy. First is you build her under all, and you play her with Staff Strike, and you give a bunch of speed to all your swings. You get to give a bunch of speed to all your swings, and you get to Staff Strike very consistently because you have that mulligan, right? You can play your Bow Staff or your Foundation Capture Net, without the Staff Strike in hand, and then be like, okay, I'll mulligan. If I find Staff Strike, cool, we can go from there. If I don't find it, cool, we can proceed from there, right? So I think she's very, very cool. She can do that very consistently. I've seen people play her under Chaos as a pseudo Tokoyami deck, because she can basically mulligan for Dark Shadow Ruins and Dark Shadows themselves. Even though Tokoyami can search them, she can't, but she can mulligan for them. And then we just give all of our Dark Shadow Ruins 3 speed, which is kind of crazy. Really, 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 really crazy. So those can get quite wild. And in general, I think she's a very versatile character that will probably end up with a few different builds. I think the character's just strong. That's just a lot of stat pump and a lot of consistency. This character card just does good universes things that are really hard to frown at. So very, very, very cool character. Our last character is Rikido Sato. This guy is a 600 with 29 health. He's a little beefy, under all, earth, and orders. There's some pretty interesting symbols there. His first ability is a twice per turn enhance to remove a card from your hand. Your attack gains stun 1 and you draw a card. This is a really, really, really crazy ability. Another really great crazy ability, because the only cost part of this ability is the removing one card from hand. So you can do this twice during both players' turns. You just, you're not really getting the benefit out of the stun one because it's not your attack. But you can just, remove a card from hand, grab a new one twice per turn, both cycles. You can go through four new. You're going through 10 cards every cycle of turns. That is a lot of cards. Like, oh, I don't have the right block zone. Let me just, pitch this one, find a new one. Like, very, 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 very cool character in that sense. And then after you draw one or more cards during an enhanced step, this attack gets +1 damage. So that's really, really, really cool too. Basically, you can just give 1 damage to 2 attacks per turn. He's not really like blowing me away, but it's a kind of cool, nice efficiency character. He's got good symbols to play under. Earth seems really good under him. You can just play all your good Kirishima stuff, build all your free foundations, dig for stuff, and just, hey, have the benefit of everything getting a little bit of stun 1. Very, very cool character. I like that he's just going to be like, hey, I'm just going to look for all of my hardened jabs and all of my hardened chops, and I'm going to just play my best attacks all day, every day. So that was a cool character. He's a very interesting one. And then we have 2 actions. First one is the Price for Peace. This is pretty much an All Might card. It's a 1 diff with a forward check on all death and good, +3 mid block, with a form to discard your hand, draw up to your printed hand size. If this is not your first form, at the start of the end phase, you lose the game. So what is this for? Basically, you say, did I find my kill turn? No, I didn't. First form, goodbye hand, hello new hand. Is this my kill turn, right? Alternatively, in the All Mights that, if you're playing All Might decks and you've reduced your hand size a bunch, with stuff like Detroit Smash or just All Might 1-dot's printed ability, you can discard your hand, which could be like, your 2 or 3 cards maybe, and then draw up to your printed. You get to kind of cheat extra cards, essentially. And then, of course, the cost of that is, if it's not your first form, you lose the game at the end of it. So it's a pretty interesting card. Quite honestly, it's I don't know. It's a weird one. It's kind of like a pseudo capture evildoers in a sense. But I definitely see how it gives some consistency to those All Might decks. And the Deadlock Enhance is nuts. You name a Fury or a Punch, grab every copy from your deck. If they go to Deadlock, you're just going to be like, okay, cool. I would like every Detroit Smash out of my deck. I will never check a 2. Very, very, very cool. Or, I'll go grab as many hardened chops, as many hardened jabs as I want, as many Texas Smashes as I want, and you're probably dead because like 3 Texas Smashes kills like the whole cast. Yeah, it's a cool character. It's a cool card for those characters. And it might make, like, it's a cool card, but it doesn't really solve the issues of those All Might decks, is that they can't deal with the stat resets in this game. So cool card, but All Might decks are going to need some more help if they want to go back to that play style overall. And our last card is, it's a crazy one, guys. Concentrate. This is a crazy one. It's a 2/5 with a 1 low mid block on air, chaos, and fire. This is insane in all of those symbols. Air and chaos use momentum so much. They love this card. And fire is just a strong symbol. And giving it more control elements and free momentum is crazy. This in like Fire All Might's crazy. Like, oh my god, it's so many crazy applications. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So it has 2 abilities. The first is a response, remove itself from the game and destroy a foundation. After they play an ability on an action card, cancel it. This is really, really, really spooky. Oh, you want to plus ultra double that? To keep that in your card pool, pay your 1 momentum, but I disagree on the doubling part. If Aizawa wants to erase you, you can cancel that. You can pay your 2, put Evil Gaze in the card pool, and then I'll cancel it. And like, that's what's crazy is the same thing with go for Beyond. Like, all of these cards remove themselves from the card pool as part of the ability and not the cost. So they have to pay the cost, but then the ability does not activate, meaning they stay in the card pool, and that's crazy. Removing itself and destroying 1 foundation is a hefty cost, but like, there's some insane cancels that will just like, there's not a lot of actions in My Hero, but what we do have are very, very powerful ones, and this canceling them is just going to be very, very, very strong. And then Enhance, if you've taken damage this turn, add it to your momentum. That's crazy, man. Hey, I don't need this to block for the rest of your turn, and you've hit me once, let me just chuck this in momentum real quick. I'll take it for momentum. Like, that's crazy. If I'm Todoroki 2-dot, I can then just pick it up. I can literally put in my momentum, draw my 6, and then just pick it up with my once per turn. Crazy. Oh, I'm just gonna chuck this in, pitch momentum, draw 2 with all my DLC. Like, oh my god, the straight momentum is crazy good, man. And a 1 low block, this card's gonna be everywhere. This card's gonna be everywhere. Especially, oh my god, Chaos is dying for low blocks. This card is insane, just like almost every action we've seen so far in the Hero Academia format. And that's it, guys. That is our 7 provisional cards. I definitely think we have some winners and some losers. I think Hagakari is gonna be everywhere in sideboards. Midnight is probably the best standalone character, and then Concentrate is just an insane card that will also be everywhere. The other 3 characters, Mike, Kurogiri, and Sato, I think are a little niche. Price for Peace is a very niche card, but Hagakari, Midnight, and Concentrate, we're going to be seeing these everywhere, and they're definitely going to have some effects on the meta and the overall tournament scene in general. Very, 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 very cool cards. I am not looking forward to Concentrate being a very, very expensive action card that almost everyone wants to own, a la Plus Ultra, but even worse because it's from the provisional packs instead. But that is a conversation for another day. Those are my thoughts on these 7 provisional promo pack cards. I also haven't tested these myself. Again, this is a very, very first impressions video, and I'd like to see what people can do with some of these cards. Anyway, thank y'all for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.